If you hood educated, I'm glad you made it. Allow me to unfold my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a hood brother's point of view to all of you, here, there, and everywhere. Now check me out.
Back, a hearing is set for next Tuesday in the case for Sean Diddy Combs. This just days after jurors delivered a mixed verdict in his sex trafficking and racketeering trial.
And that's when both sides will weigh in on a timeline for sentencing, which could be moved up from its October 3rd date if both sides agree. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles was in court for every day of this trial.
Celebrity had nothing to do with it. A juror from the Sean Combs trial saying they find any suggestion otherwise highly insulting and belittling. One person from the 8-man, 4-woman jury setting the record straight but asking to remain anonymous out of fear of online bullying and cyber harassment. Also saying, "Our decision was based solely on the evidence presented and how the law is stated. We would have treated any defendant in the same manner, regardless of who they are. I have nothing else to say."
Let's talk Diddy sentencing and how does it work? Well, there is a sentencing guideline chart, and as you can see, there are numbers that go all the way down to 43 on the side of the page. There are numbers on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that go across the page. These are your criminal history points. As you go down those points, as you rise in the points, it gets worse for you. As you rise in the level, it gets worse for you. So when I'm talking about levels, I'm not talking about months. I'm talking about what they score level-wise. And in Diddy's case, I think what's going to happen is he scores somewhere around the 14 area, this 14 number. That I highlighted, and then they will start adding points to that. And you can add points with aggravating things. You can take away levels with mitigating things. And the government is going to try and say that he did this with fraud and coercion. That adds 4 points there. They will say he's an organizer leader. That adds 4 points. So if you add those 8, you're already at 23. He's got no criminal history. I think he's somewhere, if you add those 8 points, somewhere in the neighborhood of 46 to 57. The government said he's at 51 to 63. That would be if he had some criminal history. I think that's a level 2 criminal history. But we'll see how that shakes out. Why I try to give this information is because a lot of people don't understand how it works. Oh, he's looking at 20 years. Generally, that never happens. People don't get maxed out like that. Sometimes it happens, but generally it doesn't. Usually the judges go by the guideline sentence, and if the judge is going by the guideline sentence, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of either 46 to 57, or if the government is saying his prior is 51 to 63. It's going to be interesting to see what the mitigators are, what they're going to argue to go less than the guideline sentence. And I'm sure they're going to ask for a time-served sentence by October. He will be in for, I think, 14 or 15 months. Even if he got a guideline sentence of 51 months, the bottom of the guidelines, he still would probably serve about 3 years if he did some programs that are offered by the federal detention centers and his good time. So we'll see how that works out for the sentencing. I know it's in October, and I'm sure there will be a flurry of motions before then.
A lot of people are under the impression that P. Diddy is going to get a long sentence. Some people believe that he's going to get 10 years for each victim, while others believe that he's going to get probably like 5 years and things like that. And some people are even saying that P. Diddy going to get probation. Yeah, probation. Time served, not going to the penitentiary, just time put over his head. Now, according to what we just seen, what the lawyer just demonstrated, it appears that that lawyer right there is saying that according to the federal guidelines, that he is looking at some time behind the wall, not walking free, no time over his head or anything like that. And I'm going to lean towards this lawyer. And the reason why is because this lawyer right here was the main one that predicted the outcome of Diddy's trial. He said in the beginning, hey, look, the only thing that they really got him for is the Mann Act, trafficking of prostitution. That's it. He said they going to get him for Cassie, and they going to get him for Jane Doe, and that's all they got. And lo and behold, that's what happened. So I'm gonna give this lawyer right here a little bit of credit. For those of you who don't know, that's Lowen He's Kodak lawyer. He's been a lawyer for a lot of entertainers and stuff like that. And he got a good track record, right? And I'm going to lean towards him as far as P. Diddy going to the penitentiary. I don't believe he's going to get no probation or nothing like that. And that's just my belief. Is he going to get 20 years? I don't believe he's going to get 20 years. And the reason why I say that is because of the crime, right? But you never know. Just like the lawyer said, you never know. Sometimes a judge might just go to the max, right? So we got to ask ourselves, what is the judge going to be looking at when it comes to sentencing Diddy? There are two things that he has to consider, and those are mitigating factors, and one are aggravated factors, right? He gotta consider both of those. Mitigating factors are things like, the good stuff about P. Diddy. Aggravating factors are the bad things about P. Diddy and the circumstances around the case that the judge must consider. To give you a better understanding, let's read from the law. These are not my words. This is the law. Let's read from what the law tells us about mitigating factors first. Then we're going to go to aggravated factors. Check it out. Mitigating factors for sentencing if convicted. Cooperation with authorities. Providing significant assistance to law enforcement in the investigation or prosecution of others can lead to a reduced sentence. In other words, if you snitch, they gonna plug you up. First-time offenders. A clean criminal record can be a mitigating factor, potentially resulting in a lighter sentence compared to repeat offenders. Now, in this case right here with Sean P. Diddy Combs, this right here will be a mitigating factor that his attorneys will use to help him get a lighter sentence. Why? Because he has no criminal history. He has no criminal points. He has no felonies. He was just convicted of 2 felonies now, but he has no felonies before. Mental or physical condition. If the defendant had a significant mental or physical condition that contributed to the offense, such as a mental illness, intellectual disability, or severe health issues, this could be considered during sentencing. I don't believe P. Diddy fall up under that mitigating factor there. Difficult personal history. A challenging personal background, including experiences like abuse, poverty, homelessness, or substance abuse, might be considered when determining the sentence. I don't think he fall up under that neither, y'all. Culpability of the victim. While consent is not a defense to Mann Act charges, if the victim's actions contribute to the crime, this could be a mitigating factor during sentencing. I do believe that P. Diddy applies for this right here, and this right here could be used as a mitigating factor. Why? Because Cassie and Jane Doe both initiated some of the freak-offs. Sometimes they was calling the escorts, they was paying the escorts, they was even texting him saying, hey, look, we want to do this, we like this, we love this. So this right here will be a mitigating factor that P. Diddy Combs lawyers can use to help lighten his sentence. Acting under duress. If the defendant committed the crime under exceptional pressure, provocation, or emotional stress, these circumstances may be considered when determining the sentence. I don't think he fall up under that. So thus far from the law, we see that he does have 2 mitigating factors that he can apply for that possibly could get him a lighter sentence. Aggravating factors for transportation for prostitution, Mann Act. When someone is charged under the Mann Act, which prohibits transporting individuals across state lines or internationally for illegal sexual activity, certain circumstances can increase the severity of the offense and potential penalties. These are known as aggravating factors. Here are some aggravating factors that can be used for someone charged with transporting someone for prostitution under the Mann Act. Involving a minor. If the victim transported is under 18 years of age, the offense is treated with greater seriousness and carries harsher penalties, potentially including life imprisonment. That right there does not apply to Sean P. Diddy Combs because these women that he transported were adults. They were not minors. Use of force, fraud, or coercion for adults. The Mann Act specifically addresses transportation induced by force, threat of force, fraud, or coercion. Examples include physical abuse, false promises, debt bondage, or psychological manipulation. Now, I believe, this is in my mind, I believe that they can use this as a mitigating factor, an aggravated factor. And the reason why I say that is because both victims testified that they was abused. Both victims testified that they was coerced and manipulated and stuff like that. So I believe that right there can and will be used against him when he go up for sentencing. Involvement in a sex trafficking venture. Participating in a business venture that exploits minors for commercial sex acts is considered an aggravated factor. I don't believe that this right here applies to Sean P. Diddy Combs because he was found not guilty of the sex trafficking and he wasn't dealing with any minors. Obstruction of justice. If the defendant attempts to obstruct or interfere with the enforcement of the Mann Act, such as by destroying evidence or intimidating witnesses, this can be considered an aggravating factor. Now, I'm not clear on this one because there was some talk about, him tampering with the witnesses and trying to get the witnesses not to testify and stuff like that. However, the people that he was tampering with, as far as tampering with the witnesses, they are not the victims. So I don't know how the prosecutions are going to play that. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that up in the air. Prior criminal history. A defendant with a history of sex crimes or human trafficking offenses may face enhanced sentences due to the increased risk of recidivism. Involving multiple victims. Cases involving the transportation of more than one person can lead to significant harsher penalties. Now, this right here possibly could apply to Sean P. Diddy Combs. Why? Because there were two victims. The question would be, these two victims was transported on different occasions and not at the same time. So it's not clear on that, but it does say involving the transportation of more than one person. So that right there can be used against Sean P. Diddy Combs during his sentencing, and I expect the prosecution to hammer that down because there are two victims. Organized criminal activity. If the transportation is part of a larger organized criminal operation, the offense may be considered aggravated. I don't think this applied to Diddy, and the reason why I say that because he was found not guilty of the RICO Act. Therefore, I can't see them trying to, use any organized criminal activity. But, the prosecutors, man, they do what they want to do. They might try to still say it was organized because he had people doing it and stuff like that. We'll have to see, though. But I don't know about that one, so I'm going to leave that one alone, too. Causing death or serious injury. If the offense results in the death of the victim, kidnapping, aggravating sexual abuse, or attempts to kill, it can lead to a potential life sentence. I don't believe he falls up under that. They're not saying either one of these victims was kidnapped, assaulted during the sexual acts. Besides, Cassie, she was, I guess in the hotel demonstration, he kind of beat her up or whatever. Or he did beat her up and then make her go back and, try to finish the freak off. But I don't know if they're going to use that right there because that right there puts him at getting a potential life sentence. These aggravating factors are taken into consideration by judges during sentencing and can lead to increased prison sentences, higher fines, and other penalties. So y'all see what I'm saying? This is what the judge got to deal with, right? In dealing with P. Diddy. And one thing that they don't mention that I would like to mention in this demonstration is this right here. The time span, right? The history of the transporting these women from here and there doing prostitution. That's going to be one of the things that the judge is going to have to consider, because I can see the prosecutor saying, hey, look, Your Honor, this man was doing this for 10 years. This is not his first time doing it. We just ain't catch him all the other times. This is the time that we caught him. But he's been doing this for years according to the witnesses or the victims and what they said and the evidence that we have before you. He's been doing it for years, right? And not only that, we got to understand that the judge is looking at P. Diddy as a person that commits violent acts. These are not my words. This is what the judge said out of his own mouth when he denied P. Diddy the bond. He said that P. Diddy's lawyers admitted in open court that P. Diddy was violent. Not only that, the victims that he transported for the prostitution, both of them testified to him being violent. Not only that though, they got the video of him being violent, right? The video of him beating Cassie, right? So those are some of the things that he's going to consider when it comes to sentencing Diddy. Is that right there can, extend the time, or it also can lessen the time if he say, all right, that's cool, but we're going to move towards the mitigating factors because this guy right here has no criminal history whatsoever. Regardless of what you guys saying that he did in the past, we're dealing with what happened today. He only has one conviction, and I'm going to give him a lesser sentence. But in my belief, I can't see them giving him probation. And here's my belief, right? The reason why I say I don't believe them giving him probation is because he went to trial. I have never known somebody to go to trial and lose and then get probation. I have never seen that. If you guys have seen that, get in the comments and y'all let me know. I have never seen someone make the state or the federal government spend that money and go to trial, lose, and then get probation. I just never seen it. It's just unheard of. These is what I'm talking about from my experience. Your experience might be different. Not only that though, the money for the trial, people are saying, is the most expensive prostitution trial in American history. That right there alone tells me that no, they want their lick back. They want their get back for that. You mean to tell us you're going to take us to trial, the big bad United States government, the feds, you're going to take us to trial, then lose and think we're going to show you any type of sympathy? I can't see that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my portion of understanding. Some of you believe that he's going to get probation, and that's your portion of understanding. Hey, that's just how it go. But me, nah. That man finna go to the penitentiary, y'all. That man right there got 2 convictions for transporting prostitution numerous times, right? Not just from one state over. He's all the way across the nation, from New York to from New York to California, from California to Miami, Florida, and all that old type of stuff. That's crossing too many state lines for them to say, you know what, we just gonna give them probation. I just can't see it. Not only that though, y'all ain't gotta take my word, right? Y'all ain't gotta take my word that he's going to the penitentiary or stuff like that, because y'all can keep y'all own thoughts. But let's see what his own lawyer tells people. Let's see what his own lawyers, are assuming and believing in their mind, even though they're gonna go in there and they're gonna probably say, hey, can you give him probation? But at the same time, they're gonna make the argument for a lesser sentence because they know, hey, this guy, he's finna go to the joint, but let's see if we can sneak it in there and see if the judge might say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be lenient and give him probation. But what they tell the news, it kind of tells us the thoughts of his lawyers. Check it out.
The jury acquitting the hip-hop mogul of the most serious charges, racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking, but finding him guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs' attorney saying he's ready to be moved out of MDC and go to prison.
Did y'all hear that? What it sound like they said to y'all? They said that P. Diddy is gonna get probation. Check it out.
Combs' attorney saying he's ready to be moved out of MDC and go to prison.
Did y'all hear that? They said P. Diddy finna walk free. P ain't doing no time whatsoever. He finna walk free. Y'all heard him? One more time. Check it out.
Combs' attorney saying he's ready to be moved out of MDC and go to prison.
Hey, y'all got to excuse. Y'all got to excuse old hood educated, man. Y'all know I'm getting up there in the age, man. My hand ain't what it used to be, man. I thought they said that the man was finna go to the crib, man. Nah. I mean, it appears, right? All BS aside, it appears that his lawyers understand that he got to go to the joint. These is 2 felons. Another thing that they're going to have to consider, that the judge is going to have to weigh in, is this right here. There were 2 victims. Are these sentences going to be ran concurrent or consecutive? Because let's just say if the judge say, hey, you know what, I'm going to give you 35 months for Cassie, and I'm going to give you 35 months for Jane Doe, and I'm running them consecutive. That's 70 months. He can do 20-20. He could do 40-40, 50-50, 60-60, 70-70. He can do whatever he want to do. Or else he can just say, you know what? I'm going to give you 51 months for Cassie, and I'm going to give you 51 months for Jane Doe. And I'm going to run them concurrent together, so you only have one 51-month sentence. He also can do that. So we got to just wait and see. Now, a lot of people are under the impression that P. Diddy is going to his sentencing in October. His lawyer has filed a motion to expedite his sentencing. And so they're going to have a hearing on Tuesday, right? So this Tuesday, he can be sentenced this Tuesday. If not this Tuesday, he can be sentenced a lot sooner than October, depending on when they have this hearing, if the prosecution got all their stuff together and they ready to move forward, and if the defense got all their stuff together and they ready to move forward with the sentencing, and the judge is going to be the one to say, all right, come on, let's go, right? So he can be sentenced as soon as Tuesday, July 8th. But if the judge denied the motion, then we got to wait until October to see his sentence. Now, one more thing that this judge is going to have to consider when it comes to the Mann Act, right? In one of my last videos, I said something about P. Diddy possibly can have to register as a sex offender or a sexual predator, right? And a lot of people say, no, hood educated, that ain't no sex case and all that. And I understand that right there, but listen to my word, and possibly, right? Now, for those of us who've been in them streets and we got friends, you know, who was pimping and stuff like that and went to jail for pimping and all that type of stuff, let me ask y'all, for those of y'all who have pimp friends that went to prison and now they are free, those pimp friends have to register as a sexual offender, right? And I know a lot of people say, well, whoa. We talking about pimps here, hood educated. They ain't having sex with nobody. They ain't, answering no phone calls. They ain't doing no in calls, no out calls, and none of that. The pimps are not having sex, right? Which is true. The women are having sex for the pimp and giving the pimp the money, right? Is that the understanding that we all understand about pimping? Okay then. Now, How is it that a pimp can become a sex offender? Right? It's the law. That's how. And so when it comes to this Mann Act, which have sex included in it, in some instances, the judge will require a person that has been convicted of the Mann Act to register as a sex offender. Check it out. A conviction under the federal Mann Act specifically related to transporting individuals for prostitution may trigger sex offender registration requirements, but it depends on the specific circumstances and how the offense is classified under federal law. A federal offense involving transportation of prostitution could be classified as a Tier 2 or Tier 3 offense under SORNA, requiring varying periods of registration, including lifetime registration in some cases. Now, this is the law. This is not me making up stuff, pulling stuff out the sky, grabbing it and all that. This is the law, right? So it's all up to the judge. And as you can see, everything is up to the judge. And that's why you young brothers and you young sisters and people that are living that street life, you got to understand something. Once you get into that criminal judicial system, whether it be state or federal, you are being judged. All the nice stuff that you have done and you know, the way you try to persuade people to believe, hey, I'm not like that. Nah, look, it's up to somebody else. Your life is in the hands of a stranger that you don't even know. That you trying to prove, hey, I'm not like that. I'm a good guy. This person don't know nothing about you. But according to the law, that's how he will sentence you. Now, that's a cold-blooded demonstration. Now, I want y'all to see something, right? Because I need all my young brothers and sisters to visualize this right here, because it's one thing to say it, but I need y'all to see it. Check it out.
Boy, give me the got the Richie that sit on my lap, and sometimes I always be pulling the blade. After no earth, ever since I got that rocket chain that took a trip out of space. Ever since birth, I'm on my tongue, and they ain't cool, but they really hate. I know my worth, so when you play that purpose, if you wake up, I'm okay. Medicine church, when they see everything down in the stone, in my nigga's face. I ain't got a rub, and it's not a race. Go!
First of all, it's all Harlem love. Y'all already know. It's not even saying it in front of him. You know how punches people's teeth out playing about him. This is family. This is love. It is all love. And he's brushing those waves. This is Booby Smooth groundwork. Harlem, you already know what it is.
Love, ain't nothing but love. Yeah. Welcome to the auction. Authenticity. That nigga said meats to the flow. Hoes. What you buy? Stop lying. What you buying? Stop lying.
President of the United States, you call your man. When you want to be the president of the United States, you call your man. Call MTV. We're going to give you a platform. We're going to give you a way to speak because you on to something, kid. Well, you on to something. You making sense to me. You got me. I am franchised. I'm not disenfranchised no more. And we're going to keep it nonpartisan, but we got to applaud when somebody's making sense because we've been all around, all over, speaking to politicians, and this is what we call real talk. This is what Pete. Now y'all understand why we vote. We're gonna edit everybody else ass out and just run his. Yeah,
I appreciate y'all. Thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
We applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool, and I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool. We
T-shirt. I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing, he'd be sweating just like me.
The guy's good.
What's that? That's Mauve King?
Niggas feeling marvelous.
You gotta get the shoes though. Y'all know what it is. 20, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch.
I don't hear none of them niggas who was at Diddy shit toasting with that champagne every year, having speeches with, man. Nobody speak up for this man or nothing.
As soon as they say something,
when you're on top of the world, it's a celebration.
Bro.
When you're on the bottom, it's a denilation.
Bro, the same motherfucker you see going up, you gonna see coming down.
All them motherfuckers, all with them suits on, with their cups up. Ain't nobody said nothing.
They ain't, fool. Man, as soon as they say something, they in the crosshair, fool.
Boy, this world, boy.
As soon as they say something.
This world, boy.
So you was around Diddy too.
That's why you ain't gonna see too many niggas around me. Who was around me before I went to jail. You don't see too many niggas around me. Cause them niggas did me like Diddy people.
Y'all see that? Do y'all see P. Diddy with all his friends and laughing and giggling it? I'm talking about, man, you see they hugged up, they all posing, everybody smiling, everybody look happy, right? Everybody love P. Diddy and all this old type of stuff. But when he was going through this trial, where were they? What was everybody at? Where's all the people that he made money with, that he smiled with, that he laughed with? Big time record execs. Millionaire friends, billionaire friends that he bumping shoulders with. Women that he had in his life. People that he done help with his money. Where were they? When he at the bottom of the barrel right now, I'm talking about his life is on the line. They talking about giving this man life in the penitentiary. Where were all his friends? His associates? His business partners, where were they? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. What you saying, hood educated? I mean, get to it. You talk too long sometimes. You know, we microwave with this demonstration. You old crock pot want to take all day to tell us what's going on. Get straight to it. All right, okay, I got y'all. The only people that was with him when he was going through all this turmoil was his family.
Miss Janice, how you doing, Miss Janice? Miss Janice, it's me.
I stepped it out the street. All mama's a mama, guys. Messed up. Get the fuck out the street. Get off that street. All mamas love their kids. All mamas love their kids, guys. All mamas are mama, guys. All mamas are mama, guys. We gotta respect mamas. You know what I'm saying? She loves her son.
That's it. Family. That's it. He might have had one friend pop up, Kanye West or whatever, but for the mass majority, through the whole process, family. And that's what you young brothers and sisters gotta understand, and you classic brothers and sisters gotta understand. When you live in that criminal life and you get in that courtroom, state or federal, yeah, your friend's gonna treat you like you got a disease that is contagious. They gonna be staying so far away from you, you gonna be like, hey man, wait a minute. Gang them? Oh, you talking about gang them? Gang them ain't even gonna wanna answer your calls no more. You hot. You call gang them, they gonna be, hey, hanging up the phone on you. They gonna have somebody else pick up their phone. Oh man, here this nigga go, man. Pick up the phone, baby. Tell him I'm in the car. Tell him I'm gone. Tell him anything. I don't want to talk to him. You see what I'm saying? That's what gang them gonna do. Yeah, gang them gonna abandon ship when you get into those unfortunate situations. When you get into those unfortunate circumstances, they gonna flee. You see? And the only people that you're gonna have is family. So my advice to all of you, right? Stop spending your life and your time with this foolish gangbang stuff, with this foolish street stuff, because they don't give a damn about you. It's fun, and they pretending to act like they love you and stuff like that now, but when you get into that desert, and you get into that courtroom, and they talking about giving you life in the penitentiary, nah, it ain't gonna be them standing by you. It's gonna be your family. This is Hood Educated, not Lame Related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. Peace and love. Now, before I depart, allow me to give a shout out to some of the blessings that I received this week. Allow me to give a shout out to Daryl Bird for the $25 Zelle. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Yvonne Hopkins for the $3 Cash App. Thank you, Yvonne. I really appreciate that. Richard Thompson for the $5 Cash App. Thank you, Rich. I really appreciate that. And Myrtle for the $5 Cash App. Thank you, Myrtle. I really appreciate that. Charlene for the $5 Cash App. I really appreciate that, sister. Thank you. Shannon Shannon Gregory for the $5 cash app. Thank you, Shannon. I really appreciate that. Calvin Perkins for the $5 cash app. Thank you, Calvin. I really appreciate that. Kelly Rowland for the $1.36 cash app. Thank you. And I gotta say this because I think this right here a troll. They gonna say R. Kelly forever. Hey man. Hey listen. If you cool with being, if you okay with being cool with child predators and stuff like that, man, and you know, people that abuse kids and stuff like that, hey, that's your prerogative, bruh. But I'm not with all that. Barbara for the $5 cash app. Thank you, sister. I really appreciate that. Storm for the $25 cash app. Thank you, Storm. I really appreciate that. Kasim Thomas for the $1 cash app. Thank you, Kasim. I really appreciate that, bruh. Jeffrey Blunt for the $10 cash app. Thank you, Jeffrey. I really appreciate that. Charles Arvey for the $5.99 cash app. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. Linda Robinson for the $15 cash app. Thank you, Linda. I really appreciate that. Melvin for the $10 cash app. Thank you, Melvin. I really appreciate that. Last but not least, Latanya Fisher for the $5 cash app. Thank you, Latanya. I really appreciate that. Catherine Millick for the $10 super thanks. Thank you, Catherine. I really appreciate that. M. Miller for the $2 super thanks. Thank you, Miller. I really appreciate that. Kwame King for the $4.99 super thanks. Thank you, Kwame. I really appreciate that. This is Hood Educated, not Land Related. Peace and love. And y'all take care of yourself out there.